So again, good morning to all. In front of you, I have put three patterns. So I will solve all three patterns one by one. So let me start with the first pattern. So in first pattern, what we have seen that how many rows I have? I have five rows. Row number one, row number two, row number three, row number four, and row number five. How many columns we have in every row? So in every row we have five columns. So let me start with the things. Void main. Let me change the marker. Void main is not a good marker again. Let me take two variables in I comma j. So how many rows I have? I am writing here like 4. I equals to 1. I less than equals 5. I plus plus like this. So let me, that is the for main. That is for loop. Okay. Let me write here also. Yeah. So what I have done, I have applied loop 5 times. Why? Because I have 5 number of rows. How many columns I have? I have 5 columns. So let me print 4. J equals to 1. J less than equals 5. J plus plus. So how many columns I have? I have 5 columns. But before printing the content, I have to print some space. So I have to decide how many space I have to print. So let me again build the logic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many space I have to print and what is the content? So if you look closely in row number 1, I have 4 space, 1 content. Row number 2, I have 3 space and 2 are content part. In row number 3, I have, sorry, 2 space, 4, 1 space and 5, 0 space. So you can see as the value of I is increasing, number of space is decreasing. Are you following this one? Let me explain again. As the value of I is increasing, the number of space is decreasing. So how we can put that? And let me draw this one. What is the equation of this line? Let me draw here. If this is a grid, what is the equation of this line? So in this area, what you have to print? You have to print the content. Are you following this one? In this area, you have to print the content. And in this area, you have to print the space. That is for space and that is for content. So if you will calculate the equation of this line, what will happen? The equation of this line is value of j greater than equals to 6 minus I. So please pay attention. Value of j, equals to 6 minus I. That is the equation of this line. Okay, let me verify how I have written this one. Here, what is the value of I? 5. No, sorry, 1. What is the value of j? Is 5. So, value of I is 1. The value of j is 5. So, 6 minus 1 becomes 5. So, 5 equals 5. Are you following this one? Please pay attention. Here, what is the value of j? The value of j is 4. And what is the value of I? The value of I is 2. So it becomes 6 minus 2, 4. And value of j is 4. So 4 equals 4. So what is the equation of this line? The equation of this line is value of j greater than equal to 6 minus I. And if you will move towards left to right, what will happen? The value of j will be increased. Are you following this one? It means here, value of j is increasing. So what will happen? If I will write like this, value of j should be greater equal to 6 minus I. It means I am talking about this one area. Okay, are you following this one? I am talking about this one area, and this is the area where you want to print something. It means I will write the if condition. If value of j greater than equals to 6 minus I want to print something. Okay, I'm writing here in the else part. I will write something. Okay, so I have identified the places where you want to print something. In the last program, we have seen that we have to identify two things: where has to be printed, and the second, what has to be printed. I have decided where has to be printed. It means in this area I have to print something. Okay, but what we have to print? You have to print 5. Then 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. So what is 5? The value of j. Are you getting? Here the value of j is 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and here 4, 4, 4, like this. So what is this one? This is the value of j. So directly what you can do, you can print f percentile d and j, and that is what? That is space. So let me print space, and like in the next line, let me put slash n. So you can put slash n. So in this program, what we have seen that two things: what has to be printed and where has to be printed. So first of all, decide where has to be printed. So it will decide by the condition. We have seen the same thing in the last program. And what has to be printed, it will decide what we will put inside the printf statement. So in this one, we have printed this one. So let me remove this one and let me print this one. Okay. So I will follow the same rule. How many rows I have? 5 rows. How many columns I have? 5 columns. So let me apply the loop. For I equals to 1, I less than equals to 5, I plus plus. How many columns I have? 4. J equals to 1, J. But it every row like main. Let me put main. Understood as. Okay. So how many space and how many content I have to print? Let me check that. In how many space? 0 space. All are content. How many space? 1 space. How many space? 2 space. How many space? 3 spaces. How many spaces? 4 spaces. So what is the meaning of this one is, as the value of I is increasing, the number of space is increasing. How it is increasing? I plus 1. Sorry, I minus 1. Just check here. The value of I is 1. So 1 minus 1, 0. There is no space. The value of I is 2. 2 minus 1, 1. 1 space. The value of I is 3. 3 minus 1, 2, like this. So how many space we have to print? I minus 1. Okay. And remaining is the content. But there are two things: where has to be printed and what has to be printed. So first of all, let me decide the shape. Where has to be printed? So in row number 1, I have to print all. Okay. So let me apply the if condition. If value of j less than equals 6 minus I. So let me solve this one. How I have got this one? So what is the value of I initially? The value of I is 1. So this quantity becomes 5. 6 minus 1 becomes 5. So value of j will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are you following this one? So the quantity is 5. So j equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for all values of j, this will become true. It means it will print 5 quantity. And as I have maintained the grid in the last program, if I will follow the same strategy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what is the shape? Just look at the line. In the last program, we have seen that what is the equation of the line? The equation of the line is value of j should be greater than 6 minus I. Okay. In the last program too, we have seen this, but in the last program, we have to print in this part. But in this program, what is going to be happen? We have to print in this part. So if we'll move toward the left, the value of j will be decreased. Are you following this one? If we move toward the left, the value of j will be decreased. Like this one. 4, 3, 2, 1. If we move toward the right, the value of j will be increased. It means this one is the equation of the line. So I have to print something where the value of j less than equal to something. Are you following this one? Because value of j should be less than to this line or equal to. So I have put this condition, same condition. Okay. Then I have decided where has to be printed, but what has to be printed is remaining. Okay. So you can see that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It means as the value of j is increasing, the content is decreasing. So what I can write? I can write print f percentile d 6 minus j, because sorry, the value of j is 1, so it will print 6 minus 1, 5. Value of j becomes 4, so 6 minus 4 becomes, so 2 becomes 4, like this. But there is a tricky part. What is the tricky part? For this row, it is starting with 5, but this row, it is starting with 4. Are you following this one? Please pay attention. In the last program, what is we have seen that we have seen the similar pattern. Okay, so in this one, we have to introduce something so that it can becomes variable. Are you following this one? It is decreasing row wise. That is okay. So we have introduced j because value of j will change. Okay, but this time it is also decrementing row wise. Sometimes it will start with 5, sometimes it will start with 4, and so on. So to solve this one, what I can do, I can follow a approach. If I will decrement I also, so it becomes 6 minus j minus I. It start with 7. So for this row, what is going to happen? The value of j is 1, value of I is 1. So 1 minus 1 becomes 2. So 7 minus 2 becomes 5. It means it will start from 5. But for the next row, the value of I becomes 2. So j it will vary from 1 to 5. And value of I becomes 2. So it becomes 1 minus 2 becomes 3. So 7 minus 3 becomes 4. It will start from 4. Are you following this one? In next line, what will happen? The value of I becomes 3. So second minus 1 minus 3. It means 3. It will start from 3. Okay. And for a particular row, what is going to happen? Value of I becomes constant, but value of j will decrease. So it will decrease by 1. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So in this way, I can build this logic. Okay. And let me put print f some space. So this will decide where has to be printed and what has to be printed. And you can put a slash like slash n. You can put slash n. Okay. Like not here. You can put slash. Okay. So we have completed pattern number 2. Okay. Then let me start with pattern number 3. So let me start with pattern number 3. Void main. How many rows I have? 5 rows. So 4. I equals 1. I less than 5. I plus plus. How many columns in every row? 5. So let me put 5. 4, j equals 1, sorry, I. There is no need to print space. Okay. Like this one. Okay. So how many rows I have? I have 5 rows. How many columns I have? I have 5 columns. Then now the tricky part is what has to be printed. So you have to print A, then you have to print B, then you have to print A, then you have to print B. It means alternative we have to print. There is no relation among rows and columns. Every time you are going to print A, next time you have to print B. Every time you are going to print B, you have to print A, and so on. So what you have to do, you can take a variable K, CH, and you can start with the A. Okay, so let me print if ch equals a. If the current value of ch is a, what you have to do? You have to print a. Okay, so if the current value of ch is a, you have printed a. What you have to print next time? Next time you have to print b. So you can change the value of ch equals to b. Okay, now else part. If the ch value is b, you will move in the next part. So please print b. And you can change the ch value to a. So what we have seen that, let me put here, you can put like slash. Okay, so what we have seen that, the changes of content, the content is changing alternative, and there is no relation among rows and column. So what we have seen that we are not going to include I and j because there is no relation among rows and column. If the current value of ch is a, next time we have to print b. If the current value of ch is b, we are going to print a. Okay, so we have completed this one. Okay, so in our incoming videos we will see some more complex patterns, but I will advise you first to practice these patterns, then I will give you more videos. Thank you.